Good afternoon, Danny. Danny, are you able to hear me? Hello, Danny. Danny, are you able to hear me? Hello, Danny. Danny, well, we have one other person that's supposed to join us, but I just want to make sure that you're able to hear me. So, Danny, if you would want to even put in the chat that you can hear me, that would be great too. Just want to make sure that everything's connected well. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to Why Academic Branding Matters and what it really means. I'm Eulanda Sanders, and I am the founder of Innovation Insights. And I have been an academic for over 35 years. I started in academia teaching right after I finished my undergrad program. And I was fortunate to be hired as a instructor at that time, not even a graduate student, but as an instructor. And so I have been through the academic tenure process at a couple different universities, promoted actually at Colorado State University and Iowa State University to full professor the same year. The year that I received full professor at Colorado State, I did leave there and then came to Iowa State and was also promoted through my hiring process. And so this evening, we're going to talk about academic branding, and this is really geared for academics, regardless if you are in a tenure track position or a non-tenure track position, for you to think about your academic brand and how you're communicating that out to the world. I've worked with many faculty going through the promotion and tenure process. And again, non-tenure track faculty and tenure track faculty, and helping them put their packages together, helping them thinking about telling their story. And so that's what this seminar series is really about. And so we'll have sessions every Wednesday. They're free, so please share them with friends and let them know. And I will also give you some resources for each session too. So in the chat, I've put a worksheet on reflecting on your personal and academic brand. And so just for some things to reflect on, think about, answer some questions, and we'll talk about that a little bit at the end of this too. So I have a short presentation and then I'll open it up for questions. So why academic branding matters? And it matters because your research deserves to be seen, or your teaching or your scholarly activities do. It can also enhance your career and the impact of your work. And it helps you build connections in academia and also beyond. Many of the faculty I've worked with have strong industry connections or are working with industry. And so having a clearly communicated brand helps with making those connections within industry or organizations outside of academia. So, what is academic branding? It's your professional identity. So, it's how others will perceive your work, what you're doing. And those others could be people on campus, people off of campus, your students, your colleagues. So it's important to think about what is that professional identity. It also is having intentional visibility. We can do all of the most amazing work within our academic programs that we're working in, but if we don't share it with others, we're missing out on opportunities of making new connections and also opportunities to have our own um, other sources of income too. So it's being intentional with your visibility. So that could be through social media. It could be through presenting at conferences, presenting at organizations within your community, but letting people know what you're doing. But it also means that you're being authentic with your representation. So you're expressing and sharing and communicating your unique scholarly voice. What do you bring to the classroom, to the research lab, to the administrative position that you're in? And being able to clearly articulate that to a variety of different individuals. So, some myths about academic branding. My work speaks for itself. Well, sometimes that range of where it's speaking is very, very limited. It could be just within specialized journals that you have published or just within your own discipline. And there may be opportunities for cross-disciplinary work if you're a researcher. Or if you have a teaching appointment, it might be that you have created innovative teaching methods that could be shared to others, but only your students, and maybe it's only documented on your annual evaluation materials each year. And so your work will speak for itself, but the audience might be very, very small. Discovery challenges, limited visibility just beyond your peers. So just within your own department, within your unit that you work, within your campus. And so it could cause missed opportunities, potential collaborators who might be unaware of your work. And then if you proactively share, you can amplify the impact of your work. One thing that I used to do when I was a department chair is that for the annual evaluation, for everything that people reported, I wanted them to think about the impact of what they were doing. And so how many people were reached? If they gave a workshop, how many people attended that? If they gave a guest lecture, how many people were in the guest lecture? If they got a grant, how many people were impacted by the outcomes of the grant? And then, of course, with publications, oftentimes academics are geared towards putting the impact factor, how many downloads, how many times it's been cited. And so we're used to that, but sometimes not thinking about the impact of our work in our other areas. Maybe we've created a wonderful engagement and service and outreach project. And so what is the impact of the communities that have been involved with that project? So myth 2, branding is just for business. Well, no, it isn't. The world has realized that branding and personal branding is important. I find that academics still sometimes don't realize that it's important to think about your brand and that there's an opportunity, because when you're going up for promotion or tenure or new positions, people want to know who you are, what is your brand. They're looking you up oftentimes online. And if you don't have a brand and you're not telling your own story, then sometimes stories are being told about you and they may not be completely representing who you are. So branding might seem commercial. It doesn't only focus on publication counts, the amount of downloads, the amount of citations. Um, and it's not a passive part of career development anymore. Many academics have their own websites, they have a social media presence, and they're telling their own story of what they're doing. The reality that your scholarly identity does matter. Your research or scholarship impact requires visibility. And we're seeing that more and more as individuals are being held more accountable as educators on what they're doing. And the academic landscape is extremely competitive. And new PhDs who are coming out of programs, or individuals who are maybe in industry that want to come and teach in academia, is very competitive. So having that brand built helps with communicating what value you will add to whatever unit that you are trying to enter, or campus. So myth 3, I'll seem like I'm being self-promotional. It's not always fun to talk about ourselves, and so that's why it's also sometimes good to have a mentor or a friend or a colleague to help you get started with building your brand. But you're really focusing not just on you, but the value that you're giving to your field. And then oftentimes you're elevating colleagues. Many times the work that we're doing is collaborative. And so it's not that you're just sharing what you are doing, but you're sharing what your team or your unit, your department, your program, your university is doing. It allows you to connect with peers and other students, and sharing student work and what they're doing and their accomplishments is always a good thing to do. It helps them with their brand also when they're entering into the industry. And then also by sharing what you're doing, it invites dialogue and discussion. That's one reason why I started the Innovation Insights podcast, was to have those discussions with academics and industry professionals and individuals and organizations, so that those conversations could start to happen and we could start to actually promote, I was going to say promote, but also discuss what is happening in academia, among ourselves, but with others outside of the academic campus. So, the branding formula, some things for you to think about: your reputation, quality and the focus of your work, the visibility, where and how is your work being seen, and then consistency. Is what you're doing reliable and present across multiple platforms? So as you're thinking about your academic brand, considering, how do I share the quality of my work? Is there metrics that I can share? Um, are there testimonials that I can share? And then where is the work being seen? Is it only in publications, scholarly publications? Can you share out the abstracts of your work, of your publication, so that people can get a taste of what you're doing and then maybe decide to look for the actual publication? And then are you being consistent across platforms? And this, could be social media platforms, it could be your own personal website, it could be your university's website, and making sure that there's consistent information about you and what you're doing across all of those. So here's some examples of some scholars that are doing a really nice job with their academic branding. Dr. Brian Burt I think he's at Wisconsin Stout now. He was at Iowa State, and I used to work with him here when I was a faculty member at Iowa State. And he's an education scholar. He has a website for his research group. He's launched announcements about his research group and the funding that they have received on social media, and has done a really nice job with that. Melinda Schultes, excuse me, Melinda Schultes is also a business scholar, and she works at a couple different institutions of higher ed, plus has a business background, but she's in a business college, and she has her own business too. And what she has done really nicely with her website and her social media presence has really built opportunities for her to have public speaking engagements at other institutions and within other organizations in healthcare, especially. And that's her main focus, is healthcare and senior living care. And she's really done a nice job of sharing out on social media, especially LinkedIn, what she's doing when she has a speaking engagement. But also, her brand really ties well with her website. Her website is absolutely lovely and informative, and really shows her brand. Dr. Sarah Rodriguez, she has done very good intentional work of making sure that she has brand consistency across all of the social media platforms that she's on. And she was recently on the Innovation Insights podcast and talked about realizing, as an assistant professor, a new faculty member, that she needed to think about that. She had worked some in career services, and I think that also helped her kind of think about, okay, my brand, I need to think about my brand and how I'm represented on social media. So making sure that the same image of her is on all of her social media platforms. And then she does a really nice job of promoting and sharing her work, her books that she's published and things like that. So those are some examples that hopefully will inspire you. So thinking about your personal brand, the benefits, that you have a clear purpose. If you're thinking and able to describe your unique value that you bring, you oftentimes have more invitations for panels, collaborations, media opportunities. For my brand, my personal branding, I've been connected with publications in LA, New York, the Denver area. I'm originally from Colorado, so that was kind of an easy reach. But people found me through social media, and then have invited me to be interviewed for publications, a variety of publications. Stronger engagement is attracting students. I can tell you, probably every week I am in connection with a potential graduate student that might be interested in working with me directly, or coming to my former department or the university to collaborate. And they found me through social media. And then also easier transitions. Sometimes academics decide that they want to transition into industry or other organizations or into consulting. I've noticed that recently a lot of academics have started consulting businesses. And so having a brand already built and not having to start from scratch really does help with those transitions. Or if you want to partner with industry or do consulting with industry. Uh, I know many academics who have done that and have, supplemented their income with consulting jobs. with industry. And so having that brand helps with that too. So, steps for you to think about as you build your brand is reflecting on what your current brand says. Identify what's unique about you and your brand, and then getting out there and sharing information. And I would suggest starting on one platform. And LinkedIn is a good platform to really share what you're doing. It's easy to get engagement. People are looking to see uh, what the newest trends are. And so let's say you have a new publication, sharing it on LinkedIn would be great. Um, I do have one former podcast guest who is on TikTok, and that's how we connected. And he is doing a fabulous job. He's killing it on TikTok of sharing the research from his book that he published that was released last summer. So, choose one platform, get out there, and start to share your story of what you're doing. Well, one thing I do want to share, and I will open this up, is let's see if I can get it to come over and open. There we go. So I put this in the chat to accompany this evening, and it's just a little worksheet. Probably would take you 5 minutes at the most to fill out. Um, Before you to think about, rating your current academic brand, a little bit of self-assessment, some reflection questions, uh, a little myth for you to think about, and then thinking about some keywords that describe you as an academic, uh, and how you want to be described as an academic. So please feel free to use this worksheet, share it with others. Hopefully it will be helpful this evening. And I will also be posting this on our Innovation Insights podcast on YouTube too, for people to have access to. So after I do some editing, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.